Douglas Shepp McCain, the eldest son of the late Senator John McCain, has died at 66. The first public confirmation came through an obituary and a family tribute from his sister Meghan McCain, who described his passing as sudden and remembered him as a joyful presence in her life. The newest confirmed update is that Douglas, known to many as Doug, died on Wednesday, May 20. His family has not publicly released a cause of death, and as of the latest available reporting, no further details about the circumstances have been shared. That is an important point in this story, because the public record confirms the death, the date, his age, and the family response, but it does not confirm why it happened. Doug McCain's name is now being revisited because of the family he came from, but his life was not built around the spotlight in the way many political families are remembered.
He was part of one of America's most visible political families, but he spent much of his adult life away from daily political attention, serving in aviation and raising his family. The first confirmed details begin in Pensacola, Florida, where Douglas Shepp McCain was born on October 4, 1959. He grew up in Jacksonville, attended Episcopal High School, and later graduated from the University of Virginia in 1982 with a degree in systems engineering. That college chapter also became personal because it was where he met his wife, Ashley. Doug's place in the McCain family began before John McCain became a national political figure. John McCain married Carol Shepp in 1965 and adopted her two sons, Doug and Andrew. John and Carol later welcomed a daughter, Sydney. Years later, after John and Carol divorced, John married Cindy McCain, and the McCain family grew to include Meghan, Jack, Jimmy, and Bridget. That blended family history is part of why Doug's death is being covered now, but it is not the full story. Doug also followed the military and aviation path that have long been central to the McCain family identity. After college, he joined the Navy and became a pilot. In a 2017 interview connected to the documentary John McCain, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Doug said he eventually ended up in the Navy flying A-6 aircraft, earned his wings in 1985, and completed 2 peacetime deployments. For verified entertainment and public figure updates without the rumors, subscribe to Startline Entertainment. The next confirmed detail is that Doug later became a captain with American Airlines. That career kept him connected to aviation long after his Navy service ended. It also made his public profile different from some members of the McCain family. He was not mainly known as a television commentator, elected official, or political strategist. He was a Navy veteran, an airline captain, a husband, a father, and more recently, a grandfather. The family tribute from Meghan McCain gave the public its most personal look at the loss. She shared that her brother had supported her throughout her life and brought humor and conversation into every room. She also asked that prayers be with his wife Ashley and his children Caroline and Shepp. That tribute matters because it shifted the story away from only the famous last name. It showed how Doug was remembered inside the family, not just as the eldest son of John McCain, but as a brother whose presence had been steady and meaningful. The timeline also carries a larger family echo. John McCain's life was shaped by military service, his years as a prisoner of war, and later, more than 3 decades in Congress. Doug grew up close to that history. In his 2017 interview, he recalled the disruption of his father's military service, the period when John McCain was away, and the Navy community around his childhood. But Doug also spoke about ordinary family memories, including growing up around Navy families, sports school, and the daily routines that helped carry the family through difficult years. That is why the public reaction to Doug's death sits between 2 stories. One is the national memory of John McCain. The other is the private family life of a man who spent most of his own years outside the center of politics. The official obituary adds more confirmed details about his life. It says Doug is survived by his wife Ashley, his daughter Caroline, his son Douglas Shepp McCain Jr., and his grandson Teddy. A memorial gathering is scheduled for Saturday, May 30, at the Princess Anne Country Club. In lieu of flowers, the obituary asks people to consider contributions to Jacksonville Episcopal High School, the University of Virginia, or a charity of their choice in his name. What remains unclear is the cause of death. Some social media reports may speculate, but no official confirmation has been provided regarding the circumstances. Until the family or an authorized source releases more, the responsible framing is simple. Doug McCain died suddenly on May 20 at age 66,
and his family has publicly honored his memory.
The careful read of this story is that Doug McCain's passing has renewed attention on the quieter members of a very public family. John McCain's name remains attached to politics, military service, and American public life. But Doug's story shows another side of that family legacy. A son who served, flew, worked, stayed largely private, and built a life around his own family. For now, what is confirmed is his death, the family tribute, his Navy and aviation background, and the memorial plans. What remains pending is any additional public statement about the circumstances. Until then, the story is best understood as a family loss being acknowledged with restraint, respect, and a focus on the life Douglas Shepp McCain lived.